Hey there, YouTube. All right, so we've talked about things with my readings before, where we kind of go into talking about narcissistic behavior, things like gaslighting, blame shifting, and things like that. So what I wanted to do is make a few videos kind of explaining that, because that's kind of a foundation for mental health. We need to know where we're at and who we're dealing with, and if feelings are true, and things like that, okay? So this just helps us to be informed, right? And so I'm going to be taking this, and the link will be down below, not to my website this time, but to the actual article that I'm heavily referencing from. Okay, so this article is 10 ways to know if you're dealing with a narcissist in a relationship, okay? And these relationships can be parental relationships, grandparents, actual people that you are in a relationship with, like a spouse or a partner, and friendships as well. So this deals with family, and it also deals with friends and people that are more than that to you. So I'm going to just get right into it. And I've got notes right here. So narcissists are primarily concerned with self-image. Okay, so a narcissist is going to be someone who is the most of something in a room. Okay, and when I say that, I mean they're the most pretty, they're the most misunderstood, they are the most giving, they are the most intelligent, okay? And they like to bring that up in conversations. They don't want to be forgotten, they don't want to feel like they're old news, and they want the center of attention to be on them. So that's something you're dealing with a narcissist, is that they're always the most, okay? When someone tries to steal the spotlight, they tend to, they tend to not let that happen, or do not appear to allow anyone else to take center stage, okay? So right here, they are a conversation hoarder. They will not take part in two-way conversations. Your comments with the conversation with this person are likely to be, there's three ways this can go. They can be corrected with things like but, actually, and there's more to it than this. Okay, so whenever you say something, you're either corrected, dismissed, whereas they will say just no or not true, or they will just try to shut down the conversation, not explaining anything, just basically saying you're wrong, I'm right. Okay, very narcissistic behavior. And then ignored. We're looking at quiet or silenced judging. Okay, so if they're quiet, they're not saying anything, and they just keep talking about what they're talking about like they didn't hear it, they act like it just wasn't there, then that also is some narcissistic behavior there as well. And you know what? We're guilty of this from time to time. All of us are guilty of doing at least a few of these things from time to time, but a narcissist will do these things much more frequently than me or you would. Okay, so I have an example here that says, my father's favorite responses to my views were, but, actually, and there's more to it than this, like I just said. He always has to feel like he knows better, okay? So in that situation, you'll know you're dealing with a narcissist if there's always this feeling of like, I know better than you, you're beneath me, okay, you're not working as equals or partners, but there's always like this hierarchy of like, well, their opinion is so important, and I need to get their respect, and I need to do it this way because they're so harsh and critical and judging, okay? So we're looking at this one here. So conversation interrupter, okay? Well, some people have poor conversational skills in some areas, such as interrupting conversations. A narcissist interrupts and quickly switches the focus back on themselves. They will show little genuine interest in you, okay? So what this means is that if you're having a conversation with someone and you're trying to ask them questions, right? If there's not a give and take where they're asking you questions as well, wondering how you're feeling and trying to get to know you better, then that can be a sign of someone who's either not interested or someone who has very narcissistic tendencies, depending on kind of how the conversation's going, right? So, and these are just a few signs to look for, okay? And if you guys have any more, you can definitely put them down below in the comments. So for rule breaker, or not for rule breaker, but just rule breaker, okay? A narcissist enjoys violating rules and social norms, such as cutting in line, chronic under tipping, like at restaurants and things like that. Some will overtip to show off, stealing office supplies, breaking appointments, or disobeying traffic laws. And then here's a quote here: "I take pride in persuading people to give me exceptions to their rules." Okay? So these are people that are manipulative, and they will do what they have to do to sort of get you to comply to their manipulation, right? That's the whole thing. That's what their drive is. Okay, and I have this right here. So we have boundary violator, okay? Shows wanton disregard for people's thoughts, feelings, possessions, and physical space. Oversteps and uses others without consideration or sensitivity. Borrows items or money without returning. Breaks promises and obligations repeatedly. Shows little remorse and blames the victims for one's own lack of respect. Okay? So, things like, it's your fault that I forgot because you didn't remind me. Okay, so things like this, that's a very real thing, and some people will do that. And it's not your issue, but they're good at turning things around to make it feel like it's your obligation, like it's your thing that you need to do, right? Like, oh, I did this because of you, and it's like, you're in charge of yourself, buddy. You don't have to involve me, but this makes it so that it's something where we have to focus constantly on them. The narcissist is always about, focus on me, focus on me. All right. So we have this one right here. So this is false image projection. Many narcissists like to do things to impress others by making themselves look good externally. This trophy complex can exhibit itself physically, romantically, sexually, socially, religiously, financially, materially, professionally, academically, or culturally. In these situations, the narcissist uses people, objects, status, and/or accomplishments to represent the self. Substituting for the perceived inadequate real self, these grandstanding merit badges are often exaggerated. The underlying message of this type of display is, I'm better than you, or look at how special I am. I'm worthy of everyone's love, admiration, and acceptance. Things like, I dyed my hair blonde and enlarged my breasts to get men's attention and to make other women jealous. My accomplishments are everything. I never want to be looked upon as poor. My fiancé and I each drive a Mercedes. The best man at our upcoming wedding also drives a Mercedes. In a big way, these external symbols become pivotal parts of the narcissist's false identity, replacing the real and injured self. Okay? So here's some more. So we're looking at entitlement. Narcissists often expect preferential treatment from others. They expect others to cater, often instantly, to their needs, without being considerate in return. In their mindset, the world revolves around them. Okay, so very true. Again, we're talking about people that manipulate the conversation to purposefully, constantly be in the mix of things, to constantly be relevant. These people, if they don't feel like they're relevant, they start to get vicious. They start to manipulate, even more than they were doing before. Okay, charmer. Narcissists can be very charismatic and persuasive when they're interested in you for their own gratification. They make you feel very special and wanted. However, once they lose interest in you, most likely after they've gotten what they want or became bored, they may drop you without a second thought. A narcissist can be very engaging and sociable as long as you're fulfilling what she desires, or he, and giving her all of your attention. Okay. Grandiose personality. Thinking of oneself as a hero or heroine, a prince or princess, or one-of-a-kind special person. Some narcissists have an exaggerated sense of self-importance, believing that others cannot live or survive without his or her magnificent contributions. Things like, I'm looking for a man who will treat my daughter and me like princesses. Once again, I saved the day. Without me, they're nothing. So things like that can definitely be some narcissistic tendencies. Negative emotions. Many narcissists enjoy spreading and arousing negative emotions to gain attention, feel powerful, and keep you insecure and off balance. They are easily upset at any real or perceived slights or inattentiveness. They may throw a tantrum if you disagree with their views or fail to meet their expectations. They are extremely sensitive to criticism and typically respond with heated argument. Fight or cold detachment, flight. So like fight or flight. I think you guys have heard that before. On the other hand, narcissists are often quick to judge, criticize, ridicule, and blame you. Some narcissists are emotionally abusive, By making you feel inferior, they boost their fragile ego and feel better about themselves. And this is from Yogananda. Some people try to be tall by cutting off the heads of others. And I think we can definitely understand what that means. So all of this ties together, and this again is to help you guys spot this. And I'm going to do another video after this one talking about boundaries and how we can set those, because that's what I've talked about in these videos a lot as well. So manipulation using others as an extension of self. Making decisions for others to suit one's own needs. The narcissist may use his or her romantic partner, child, friend, or colleague to meet unreasonable self-serving needs, fulfill unrealized dreams, or cover up self-perceived inadequacies and flaws. If my son doesn't grow up to be a professional baseball player, I'll disown him. Aren't you beautiful? Aren't you beautiful? You're going to be just as pretty as mommy. Another way narcissists manipulate is through guilt, such as proclaiming, I've given you so much and you're so ungrateful, or I'm a victim, you must help me, or you're not a good person. They hijack your emotions and beguile you to make unreasonable sacrifices. And then it says here what you can do if you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist. Okay, and I'm on the website Psychology Today, and I did read this article for you guys just so that you can understand what's going on. I know a little bit about this kind of behavior, of course, but if it helps to have more of a guide, I'm going to use that. And I'm also going to attribute the credit to the right source. So I will link that down below. You guys can check that out. My website will be down there as well. Let me know what you thought about the video. And namaste, you guys. Have an amazing day and take care. All right. Talk to you later.